To Robert O'Brien now, the former national security advisor under President Trump. Mr. O'Brien, very good to have you. What do you think of the Chinese posture on this? I've joked on air, sir, that I don't know what Mandarin is for chutzpah, but to first of all condemn us for downing their spy balloon, and then to say we should repair it and give it back, and then to say they got to punish us for these actions because they're beyond the diplomatic norm. That's over the top, and it's not getting any warmer. What do you think of it?
Well, the Chinese humiliated us with this spy balloon crossing the breadth and width of the United States and no consequences. The only consequence they had is that Secretary Blinken didn't meet with Wang Yi in Beijing, but he met with him in Germany. And he met with them in Germany, a country that has said no matter what they do, no matter what they do to support the Russians in Ukraine, no matter what they do to the United States, Germany is going to continue to be their trading partner. So today TikTok is in 100 million households. It's like 100 million Chinese balloons all over the place. We're buying millions of Chinese semiconductor chips from CIMIC and others that continue to flow into the country, even though we know it's a security threat. The Ford Motor Company is building a Chinese communist battery plant in Michigan so that they can get American subsidies. Why wouldn't the Chinese demand the balloon back? I mean, given everything else that's happening, we're kowtowing to them in a way that's just unbelievable. And the congressman's right, we look weak, and the Chinese, for the Chinese, weakness is provocative. It's not a virtue.
You know, while I have you here, Mr. Brown, I'm curious. The Biden administration has argued that there were a number of these balloon incidents dating back to the Trump years. I think they cite at least 3. Do you remember anything like that?
No, we were never briefed on it. And look, to their credit, the Biden administration had Secretary Pompeo, myself, and John Radcliffe, the former DNI, into the headquarters of the ODNI last week. They briefed us. What they told us is that these balloons had skirted the U.S., and they only learned about it after we'd left office. We were never briefed. And there was nothing of the order of magnitude that we've seen here. There was no crossing of the United States, no loitering over our nuclear sites, our submarine pens, our nuclear capable air bases. This was something that's never happened. And look, Neil, you know as well as I do, the Chinese would have never done this with Donald Trump as president, with me as national security advisor, with Mike as Secretary of State. I mean, this just wouldn't have happened. Yeah, and I think everyone in America knows that.
It would have been amazing if they did. Well, because one thing that came up, Mr. Brown, I don't know if it's true or not, is that our military didn't advance it to higher ups at the time because, to your point, it was so relatively quick. That in and of itself begets questions like, shouldn't guys like you in an administration know about that, regardless whether military types were afraid of burdening you with this information or not?
Yeah, so again, that was not something that was briefed to us at the DNI, but if it did happen, it would have been a serious breach. And if an adversary invades our airspace, the National Security Advisor and the President of the United States should know about it. So I hope that's not the case, and I hope those reports are inaccurate. But again, what the Chinese did and what they're seeing now, and look, the Chinese would love to have us fighting between the Pentagon and the White House and who knew what when, rather than talking about the fact that this was a massive violation of our sovereignty. And yet, what are the consequences for the Chinese? The TikTok is still on kids' apps. We're still importing their semiconductor chips. We're building battery plants. They're buying farmland, which are permanent weather balloons next to our air bases. There are no consequences to the Chinese for their action. So when Wang Yi goes to Russia and is now going to talk to his unlimited partner about what they can do to help in Ukraine, why would the Chinese be concerned? Because they just launched an air balloon over our country with no consequences. So why wouldn't they think that they can now supply Russia in the war with Ukraine with no consequences?
You know, it's an outside event, but I wonder if there's a Chinese connection. North Korea, for the second time, I believe in 4 days, launched missiles that got very close to Japan, very close to South Korea. And they're upping the ante for the first time this year. They've been relatively quiet for a number of weeks. I wonder if this is done in concert with China's knowledge or to just add to the kind of provocative actions from that part of the world.
Well, I think it is, and it's similar to the Iranians increasing their enrichment of uranium and totally ignoring their obligations under the Non-Proliferation Treaty, threatening their neighbors. The North Koreans have gotten in on the act because, again, all these rogue regimes, when there are no consequences for malign behavior, that opens the door of weakness or even the perception of weakness. And I don't believe the United States is weak. I think we're a strong country. We remain fundamentally strong. But we're perceived after Afghanistan and after allowing the Russians to go into Ukraine and letting the spy balloon fly over our country, we're perceived as being weak now. And so all the bad actors are going to get in on the action and see what they can do and see what they can exploit. And that's why peace through strength works. We need to, obviously coordinate with our allies. I was pleased to see the president go to Ukraine and support the Ukrainian people who are in the fight of their lives for freedom. But we've got to take a different posture, because unless we do, this activity is only going to continue.
All right, we'll watch it closely. Robert O'Brien, very good seeing you. Donald Trump's former national security advisor.